Olá, bem-vindos à Igreja no Mundo, o programa da Fundação AIS Ajuda à Igreja que Sofre. Sou Paulo White e hoje vamos ver um filme sobre o Bangladesh. O Bangladesh é um país asiático com a população maioritariamente muçulmana, onde os cristãos representam apenas cerca de 1% da população total do país. No entanto, são uma comunidade muito ativa e prova disso, vamos ver isso no filme, eles editam uma revista, Pratibeshi, que significa vizinhança ou proximidade. Pois é através desta revista que se estabelece todo o elo de ligação entre a comunidade cristã. Vamos ver.
Bangladesh is the world's 8th most populous land and the 3rd largest Muslim-majority country. Christians make up less than 1% of the population. Despite their minority status, for the past 75 years, the small Catholic community has influenced the nation through their weekly magazine, Pratibeshi. From the pressing issue of climate change to the land rights of the often victimized tribal peoples to the spiritual development of Bangladesh's Catholics, the weekly Pratibeshi is an important voice.
In a Muslim country, to have a magazine that is the voice of the church is difficult. But the staff of the weekly Pratibeshi, they are going on to publish it regularly. The motto of our magazine, the weekly Pratibeshi, to develop the morality as with the spreading of our values, our Christian values that we call religious. We cannot say it directly our Christian values, but we say human values so that it can spread out throughout the people in the country. A country highly populated, highly Muslim people.
We feel in Bangladesh we have a role to play in development work, but development with a religious dimension. We cannot think one day of becoming a big community here, a Christian community. We'll have to be always salt of the earth.
Mostly our Catholics are tribal, but they are oppressed in many ways. So the weekly Pratibeshi gives a special space for them for this issue. Whenever something happens anywhere in the country, the weekly Pratibeshi focus on that issue. We are trying to involve the tribal people in our publication work to give chance to grow up, to be aware about their rights.
There are many people who are ethnically minority. There are many people who are in Dhaka, who are Bengalis, powerful, influential. Less influential people knows that I have someone in Dhaka who has some command to whom we can collaborate. So Pratibeshi as a newspaper, yes, of course, but its social value its empowerment value, its social solidarity value is huge.
Pratibheshi is a magazine which is addressed to everyone. Children, youth, elderly people, also different levels of education. Very intellectuals are writing there. At the same time, very small children are writing. It's very difficult. For example, the 8 dioceses now, and every diocese has its own uniqueness, and also the tribal people, indigenous people. So to keep them satisfied or give them something which is meaningful, it's hard job. It's hard job.
This is the first one, the first year and the first issue that published on November 1941. In second issue is in December. The name is changed little bit. It is the Catholic Mission Potrika. So it is no more on one mission. Now it is Catholic for all the Catholics of Bangladesh.
Pratibheshi, as one of the oldest magazine weekly in Bangladesh, it began publishing in 1941, where it was started by the American missionaries. That was actually parish bulletin. American Holy Cross priest, Father Patrick Duane, CHC, he was the one who started. The aim of this magazine was to disseminate information to the Catholics, those who are living far from the parish. So catechist masters, those who are taking care of the villages, they are the one who came to the parish once a month, and they had a meeting with the parish priests. Parish priests used to give them some catechism to the teachers, and they learned and they go back to the parishes. Pratibheshi is in English we say neighbor, but in Bangla, Pratibheshi means one who is living in next door. We were very acquainted with your people who are living around you, and you always very responding to their needs. We picked up this thing, I think, from the gospel, where as a good Samaritan, he responded without any question, responded in the need of the people.
Every week we select the articles related to the theme, such as last week it was the pilgrimage and pilgrim. So all our writings, articles were based on pilgrimage. We give importance also in the situation of the country, and there are some dates, national dates, we follow those days. কতদিন যাবত আপনি এখানে কাজ করতেছেন? How long you are working here? It's almost 20 years you are working here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Go on with the good work. Thank you, Shabiul Bhai. All the writers are voluntary. They write voluntary. Mostly, I should say it is 98% voluntary writers. They write, and we are getting many articles for our Pratibheshi. Never it is the shortage of articles or news.
First article I wrote when I was in class 6. When I published my report, I encouraged to write. When I was in college, at that time, every month I wrote something, a story, poem, a report. From that time, I am writing, up to now I am writing. So, consequently, what happened? One day I became a good writer. In one word, I can say, Pratibeshi taught me how to write and how to become a journalist. Pratibeshi is my first school and last school. Many educated persons of our country, they call me Voice of North Bengal. My name is Voice of North Bengal. Like this, they call me, oh, you are Voice of North Bengal.
It has contributed in formation of writers, which is very important. We are a very small community, but in thinking, in our intellectual power, we are not small. We can make others influence. We can give the nation a big thing. And I think Pratibeshi has that platform where it can grow Christian writers, Christian intellectuals, Christian researchers who can initiate to write and practice.
This is our small section, but it is very important. This is distribution section. We have more than 7,000 subscribers. The name of the subscribers are here. You look, some big books are here. This is Dhaka Diocese, Dhaka Dharma Pradesh. Okay. This is another diocese, Rajshahi Dharma Pradesh. It calls Rajshahi Diocese. And this one is the outside of Dhaka. It's a foreign subscribers are here. The cost of subscription is that only 300 taka, only 300 taka. It comes in USA dollar, how many? Okay, it is not very costly. It is only $5.
We have a regular letter from our readers. They write their comments. Then we have daily readings. Then we have also a homily for the next Sunday. All the priests, catechists, they can receive it beforehand. We bring all those church leading news and news items, as well as also some local news. We have also a children page where we reflect special story, moral story on children formation. And then we have also a column for youth. Then we have also some episodes, story, especially on human development side, where people can find some good reflection about the society, about the politics, some analyses, and some political reviews are given. All this. So there is a mixture for all. It has an effect to the society as well as to the economic and other sectors. I think it has a great influence to the people of all sorts, all walks of life.
There are now about 100 villages, Khasi people, and they are basically forest dwellers, and they do not practically have their land rights. They do not have land title. These people are staying around this place for 100 of years. They have a traditional shifting way of cultivating betel leaves. They live or stay in one place for 30, 40 years, and once the land is exhausted, they shift. Almost 99% Khasi populations are Christians, The indigenous groups in Bangladesh are not constitutionally recognized. Therefore, they do not enjoy human rights and other civil rights like the mainstream people. So they are in constant struggle for their land. They are very badly discriminated and they are very badly excluded by the government, exploited by the tea companies and the Department of Forest. 3 years ago, and one day the manager of the garden came with about 200 people and started breaking down their houses while the men were all out in the forest working. So the women resisted, and then the men came and both the group fought. One from the tea company died in the hospital after 3 days. Now altogether they are running 5 court cases. So they have to maintain this, and they are always now in a kind of fear. More than 25 Khasi villages have disappeared because they could not fight with the forest department. They could not continue fighting with the tea estates. So they lost their possession of the land.
When I wrote on Protibeshi, some friends found me, Father Anthony, how dare are you? You wrote this kind of article. If the Muslim read and attack you, I told them I don't afraid of them. As a priest, I have to play a prophetical role. And I don't fear. Like a journalist, I ask question. Where is the dead body? Who we shoot? Why shoot? Who first attacked you? The police or the people? Like this, I asking them, questioning them. They have always pressure from the powerful people. Those are living beside around them, especially the Muslim. No, they think that they are minority people. We can do whatever we want to do. Even they can kidnap their young girls, or they could attack the people, the women or men. It doesn't matter. So this kind of pressure they have always inside. But as a church, we are beside them to protect them. Always we take care of them.
Because of the changing of this climate, Bangladesh is affected highly, particularly in the Bay Area, southeastern area of Bangladesh. That's why the weekly Pratibeshi takes this issue seriously to inform the people the bad impacts of the destruction of the climate.
Climate change is having very adverse impact in the sea level rise. By the year 2030, it is predicted that 30 million people of the coastal area either will have to move to upward because their cropland, their housing, their income, their livelihood will be under threat. It is no more scientific evidence or research work, it is visible already. When there is high tide, off the coastal areas get underwater. It's not a story, it's a life-oriented fact. The rainfall of our country has shifted by 15 to 20 days. It's a huge, huge impact. Farmers get confused. They now see many phenomena which was not there. the traditional seeds are no more working. The vector or the flies and things who used to pollinate, they have become confused. In Bangladesh, we have water everywhere, but there is a huge crisis of drinking water. When the rainfall amount is low and the pattern is changed, the natural discharge of sweet water, underground sweet water is less, and we are suffering, especially in the north. Miles after miles, we cannot sink tube oil to get good, safe water. Looking into all these things, we are not just frustrated and just sitting idly, no. We know the consequences, and nationally, we are taking preparation. To reach out to our own Catholic population, Pratibeshī is the single most media for us. We collaborate in preparing different features, different articles, and contribute in the Pratibeshī, so that what Caritas is doing is known by the Catholic population.
When you love someone, you write to that person. Boy writes to his girl, or girl writes to her boy, because he or she loves the person. And that is why it tells the stories, personal stories, to him or her. Pratibeshī is the love letter of the church to the people.
It's a love letter. You feel it. When you touch it, you feel it. And you keep it always with you. Something very precious. Very precious, and also it is when you receive it with love, and it affects you.
In a Muslim society like Bangladesh, we church very small, very little, tiny. But then we should not give up. Maybe we cannot make people Christian, but we can always give our values, Christian values, gospel values to the people. Even in our schools, where most of the students are Muslims, non-Christians, they are also, if you ask about Pratibeshī, they are enthusiastic because they can learn something. In other magazines, there are pictures, girls, models, this, that, no? But here, we don't go with those things. It is not for business. It is not for making money, because so far, Pratibheshi is still now is subsidized on the part of the church. For a magazine like this, surviving for 75 years and so, is quite something.
Sometimes they wrote their comment on Pratibheshi. There's every week we are thirsting for Pratibheshi magazine. We are waiting for the news of our country. And sometimes we hunger for the Pratibheshi. If we not get in time, we feel uneasy.
From 1976, I have been writing as a priest, then as a bishop. So as bishop, I have not written anything yet as cardinal. Pratibheshi has become the mouthpiece of the Catholic Church.
There are so many magazines in our country, but 1 year, 5 years, 3 years, after that disappear. But this is the only one magazine still existing, that is Pratibheshi.
E com esta história sobre o Bangladesh, sobre o trabalho da comunidade cristã no Bangladesh, chegamos ao fim de mais um Igreja no Mundo, o programa da Fundação AIS. Despeço-me com amizade. Até ao próximo programa, até à próxima semana, se Deus quiser.